I am super pleased to see so many of you here today for our 2023 AdMaCom Demo Day. It's in a roller coaster over 3 weeks, especially for the startups, but as always, for the INAM team as well, as last minute things come up and fixing needs to be done quickly, and as in real life, especially as in real startup life, at a level of quality that is satisfactory to the customers. But anyways, we're very pleased again to be here at TU EINS of the Center for Entrepreneurship of the Technical University of Berlin, a lovely and very suitable venue, I think, for our event. So many thanks to the management for having us here. But without further ado, I will now dive into what's awaiting you. So, not completely unexpectedly, you'll hear some hellos from our side. You will hear, and that's the key thing, of course, you'll hear some startup pitches, some extremely interesting startup pitches, I should say, from startups from around the world, and this is really the case this year. You'll get some food, you'll get some food for thought, hopefully also. You get the opportunity to network, and then, of course, after the coffee break, we'll be having our awards ceremony and announce the winners of this year's AdMaCom. And finally, of course, that culminates in some sort of celebration where we can do some more networking, and you can talk to the startups, and you can also talk to us, of course, the INAM team, and amongst yourselves. Without further much ado, I would now like to ask onto stage the re-elected board member and treasurer of INAM, Gerrit Rössler, of our sponsor and founding member, Berlin Partner. Gerrit, over to you.
Thank you, Oliver, for the introduction, and it's a great pleasure for me to be on stage for the first time in this very prominent role as a board member, but also as one of the sponsors for INAM's AdMaCom from Berlin Partner. So a good thing for you, I will cover 2 speeches within one and save some time on the agenda, which will lead to more opportunities for the startup to present themselves. It's the 9th edition of the AdMaCom that I'm allowed to welcome you to. I'm very proud of it. I have personally attended all of them for the first time in 2016. And I've seen quite remarkable development in this time, which considers the startups participating. Oliver already said, it's very impressive to have so many participants here from the US, from Singapore, Asia, also in combination, and that's good for us and proud of it too, with startups from Berlin. 2 in this round explicitly. So a warm welcome from my side. I know you had a very extensive program during the past 3 weeks. We're very happy that you, most of you, made it here to Berlin to attend personally. And as I've heard, you have had more than 100 mentoring sessions during the last weeks. Many mentors have been involved, many members of the INAM network and supporters have been involved. So it's an opportunity to say thank you to the members and all the supporters of this competition on the name of the INAM board, but also as a sponsor from Berlin Partner. Berlin Partner actually is a regional economic development agency for the city of Berlin. I'm heading the optics photonics unit there, and that's where we went to become one of the founding members of INAM. The original idea was that we knew that Berlin is a quite attractive place for IT startups, for creative industries, but we also saw a lot of potential in the hardware sector and the deep tech sector. And INAM was one of these creations with many other partners, and I see some of the founding members here also around in the audience. And we're very proud of it that INAM is significantly contributing to the profile of Berlin, to becoming not just an attractive location for startups in the IT sector, but also in the hardware development. And of course, we hope that beyond this activity here and beyond this year's AdMaCom, you will have many opportunities and links and networking contacts that you take out of the event and which will be part of your future career or the creation of your business and your company. And if at some point you would even consider coming here permanently, we would be happy to welcome you in Berlin. So far, so I'm very eager to know more about the startups. And I think we can directly jump into the presentations, right, Oliver?
Because you know now who I am. I forgot my introduction actually. So Oliver, Managing Director of INAM. And actually I can underscore what Gerrit said. INAM was founded actually 7.5 years ago in Berlin. And I personally got involved in 2017. At the time, I was working a lot with digital startups, actually. And then I was approached through my former business school here in Berlin. Well, there's this network looking at hardware deep tech startups. And I was like, okay, I don't have a science background or anything like that, but I've always been intrigued by innovations, hardware innovation. So I thought, wow, that's an interesting sidestep, let's say. And so I started mentoring at the time, and 2 years ago, took over the role of managing director. But anyways, what are we trying to do? What is INAM trying to do? What is the team trying to do? What is the network, most importantly, trying to do? We're trying to help innovations in the hardware deep tech space, especially advanced materials, to come to customers, to come to success, and to, of course, build successful companies. And how do we do that? Very simple ecosystem thinking. We bring together the right players at the right time and with the right speed. 90% of startups fail. That's a kind of general common knowledge and even calculatory basis for a whole industry, i.e. the VC industry. And you might wonder why this is supposed to be a celebration. Why is it presenting this figure on a black slide at a celebratory event? Well, because this is what we want to tackle and what we set out to tackle. If we deep dive into why do they actually fail, we see a number of things that are also pretty much known. But one of the biggest factors is no market need, i.e. not having enough data from the market to build that into the product, to change the product, to adapt the product, or perhaps even a step before, not reaching out to the right market. And this is certainly one of the things that we want to address as a network, but also through our programs. The other things then follow on from that. You run out of cash if you don't have customers or investors that believe in your business case. If you don't have a credible business model, you don't find team members. Competitors go ahead quite equally, not surprisingly. And you know, all the other things, I think they are quite obvious also. So what are we trying to do? Over the years, we've set up a series of programs that help startups from pre-founding to Series A, essentially, or a scale-up fundraising round, to overcome the problems that we've seen on the previous slide. And we have differentiated that out into 3 different programs because it is really a number of problems that are similar to startups in a particular phase. And even though we started with the Advanced Materials competition, a standalone program 6-7 years ago, we found that differentiating that out and really addressing the need of startups in each particular phase is much more beneficial, both for us as well as the startups. For us, meaning bringing the right people at the right point in time to the right startup. And how do we do that? And this is basically a quick summary of what we enable the startups to do or what we offer them during our programs. And the pillars are pretty much the same. It's of course workshops on topics depending on the stage you're in. IP is always a key thing in the industries and in the technologies that we're dealing with. Pitch trainings, quite obvious, no-brainer for startups. Of course, investment and funding guidance. And then lastly, and this is not by accident in a different color, mentoring, networking, and talking to people. I would even say collecting data points on your business model, on your product, on your marketing, on your pitch, whatever. And this is really one of the key pillars, and I would even say our secret sauce, how we differentiate in our programs from other programs, trying to bring together the right people at the right time with the right startup. And does it pay off? It does. Over the years, and we do this analysis once a year, over the years, we have a survival rate of our startups that have gone through our programs of 93%. So basically inverted the figures from 90% failure to 93% success. And if you look at the individual years that we've depicted here, and we haven't even looked at 2022 because that's 100% that are still in the market. You can see that even those that started 7 years ago, almost 80% are still around. I'm not saying that it's all due to us. No, it's certainly most importantly the entrepreneurs, the people that drive the startup, that are the founders of the success. But I would hope that, you know, a little we have contributed through either making the connections, maybe even bringing them to Berlin in a certain way, but also, of course, selecting the startups onto our programs that are most promising to be successful. So guys that are here today pitching in the next hours, this is a call for action to you. So in 5 years down the line, I want to see a 2023, where would it be here, with above 90%. And I'm actually quite confident that you will achieve that. Now we come to our startups. And as Garrett has already said, we are super pleased to once again have a very international batch this year. Being international, of course, means, and particularly for startups in the stage that we're looking at, i.e. around seed, where money is often, you know, not so, or is a bit of a problem. We are aware of the problem that sometimes travel expenses are, you know, an issue. So we are not seeing everybody live here on stage. The vast majority of the startups we will be seeing. That's the great message. And that includes from Singapore to the US, from France, and for the first time also two from Berlin on stage, where travel expenses, I suppose, do not play a major role, but it's good to have them on stage here. And without further much ado, I would dive into, once again, thanking our sponsors for this year's AdMaCom, IBB, and you'll be hearing from Konstantin, who's representing IBB today later on, and Garrett, you've already got to know. There's also Sylvia, colleague of Garrett here. If you want to talk to Berlin Partner about their services, you can do that in the break. But a big thank you to our sponsors for this year's AdMaCom. Equally, and I cannot stress enough, also a lot of big thank you to our members who contribute financially to the running of INAM, but also in kind, in terms of doing mentorings, helping us out with advice, helping us out with connections, coming to our events, working with our startups after the events, after the competitions, etc. So also a very big thank you to all our members, many of which are present, which is also very pleasing for us. And I hope we continue our good collaboration on the matter of advanced materials startups. Now it's time to get serious. Can I say serious? Well, not so serious. It shouldn't be too serious. But anyways, I would like to introduce to you today's jury that will evaluate the 11 finalists that we'll be hearing pitch later on. And I would like to ask the jury members to come quickly onto stage and say an elevator pitch about themselves and their background. Let's start with ladies first, Tatjana, who's also been elected into the INAM board in February, so a new board member.
Okay. Hi, hello everyone. I'm Tatjana Königsmann. I'm located in Berlin. I work for Autotech, which last year joined, actually was acquired by MKS Instruments. That's why you see like two logos. I'm a R&D program manager for energy solutions. So that means we are also stepping into the energy storage market, not only electronics and general metal finishing. And I'm happy to be here, and good luck to all of the startups.
Hi, everyone. I'm Bruno Palmer from Continental. I work at Continental since 8 years at manufacturing. Really happy to be here today. I work as innovation manager for Continental for the tire sector and also part of Copace. At Copace, we try also to do the network with the startups and find the right startups to partner with us at Continental. So I'm really happy to see you all, and good luck for everyone.
Hi, I'm Sophie. I work for Cambridge Display Technology, doing corporate venturing on behalf of Sumitomo Chemical. My background is as a device physicist, but now I'm looking at synergistic partnerships that we can build between startups and Sumitomo Chemical. And good luck out there today.
Hello, everybody. My name is Thorsten Kampen. I'm the CEO of Focus Group. Those are two companies, Focus in Hünstetten, which is close to Wiesbaden, and Focus Electronics in Leipzig. My background is semiconductor physics, inorganic semiconductors, but also organic semiconductors. And I'm happy to be here, and I wish the startups all the success.
Second time for me. I heard there will be a third time later on, but this time as a jury member, I'm happy to present Berlin Partner. I'm heading the unit dealing with photonics, microelectronics, quantum and material technologies. But my personal background is in economics and business administration. So I'm very much looking forward to the pitches coming in. Thanks.
One time I didn't hold the microphone in my hand, honestly. I'm Roman. I'm from IBB Ventures. We're a public VC fund of the city of Berlin and associated with the IBB group. So as Oli mentioned, we are one of the so-called investors that are part of the INAM network. And we invest since 25 years into deep tech startup already. So me personally not, but I have a background in economics, and my colleagues who are mostly engineers do. So looking forward to your pitches.
Super, thank you. And now let me introduce to you the master of ceremony for the startup pitches, our very own Taha.
Thanks, Oliver. First and foremost, from my end, a very warm welcome to the event. Thank you all for spending your valuable time with us today. And yeah, a special thank you to all the startups who managed to make it. It's been really exciting this entire week. And yeah, we're looking forward to the pitches. Yeah, we have a very exciting evening ahead of us. But before we get into that, I'd just like to do a bit of housekeeping so everyone knows what the rules are. Each startup has 3 minutes to pitch, and this will be followed by 2 minutes of question answers from the jury. And yeah, unfortunately, 4 of our startups could not make it here today with us, but we have managed to get them online with us, and we'll be starting with those, and then eventually moving on to the ones present here in person. With that, we can start with the presentations.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Xue Jun, the CEO and the co-founder of Ventafield. I'm happy to present at least the Advanced Material competition at Berlin. Today, I want to share you our progress on scalable 2D semiconductor manufacturing solutions. So the material we are talking about are transition metal dichalcogenide. They have atomic thin thickness and will replace silicon at the 1 nanometer node. Companies like IMEC, TSMC, and Intel have already placed this material at their roadmap to replace silicon with stacked 2D semiconductor transistors. But there's one problem, the lack of mass production system with gross temperature less than 450 degrees for stacking and 3D integration. I'm happy to announce that we have achieved this system as a gross temperature as low as 350 degrees. We have a debut of this system at this year's IDM happening in December at San Francisco. The reason we can grow this material under such a low temperature is we introduce UV light in our emulsivity chamber. UV light helps to decompose the precursor at a much lower temperature and fix the defects during growth. We have a patent protecting this technology. Here's a benchmark. Our emulsive system have the lowest growth temperature across the academia and the industry with a low cold wall system that's perfect for mass production. And we also made a lot of high quality transistors out of this material. That's better than all the transistors in literature, including the one from TSMC collaborating with IBM. With such amazing technology, we are going to disrupt the industry piece by piece. Starting with 6-inch system, we're going to enter the micro LED industry to replace the silicon as the pixel driver. For our 8-inch system, we are going to replace silicon in the MEMS, silicon photonics, and in the aerospace chip due to their tolerance to radiation, and quantum computer due to its capability and work under extremely low temperature. For our 12-inch system, we are going to replace silicon transistors in image sensor, DRAM, and 3D V-cache to create high-density vertical integration circuits. And we are going to have a monolithic 3D IC at the 1 nanometer node to push a more slow forward. Starting with 6-inch, we are attacking this specific market, micro LED. So Google last year acquired a company called Rexim due to their capability to create color pixels with 3.5 micron pitch. We are able to create color pixels with 1.2 micron pitch. And we didn't stop there. With our technology, we can integrate pixels on lens to create an integrated AR lens driven by our transistor. And we can achieve 16K resolution, 120 Hz refresh rate, retinal resolution with 6 pixels per degree and 110 field of view. With our 20% of the efficiency, which is 100 times better than competitor, we can achieve 5,000 nit easily with zero optical leakage. We have 3 patents protecting this idea. Behind all this amazing team, our co-founder, Professor Chaohui Ye, have 15 years experience on 2D semiconductor and emulsivity system, and he built this emulsivity system and create amazing 2D transistors. And I'm the CEO, and I graduated from UCSB PhD with 10 years of experience in 2D semiconductor. This is Fentafield, while replacing silicon bit by bit.
Okay, so that was Fantafield. Unfortunately, they're not here with us. So we will be moving on to the last of our remote startups, which is AlGreen. I think they're on call, but we will go ahead and play their video first and then come to you for questions.
Hi, I'm Zhishan from AlGreen. We deliver the most sustainable solution to polyurethane. Polyurethane represents 8% of world plastics. It's widely used for making foam, sealants, film former, coating, and thermoplastics. In AlGreen, we invent different polyurethane products, including foam, film former, film, adhesive, and coating. Our polyurethane is fully bio-based, chemical-proof, carbon reduction, affordable, waterproof, recyclable, and durable. To compare with our competitors, only AlGreen is able to deliver this fully bio-based formulation in an economically scalable and energy-saving process. To commercialize our polyurethane product, we deliver 3-stage business plan. In short term, we support sustainable fashion with a market size of 177 billion. We are aiming to achieve 15 million revenue in 2028. We have many fashion customers. We are also one of the 20 H&M Global Change Award finalists. We are supporting our customers' fashion show this August. In the midterm, we commercialize our polyurethane film former to our Tier 1 cosmetic brand customer to support the EU's Green Deal. For the long term, we'll expand our impact by supporting automotive and medical industries. To go to the market, we build direct conversation with brands and seek subcontracting manufacturer support. We are raising our seed funding at the moment to achieve our route to market. I'm the CEO and founder of AlGreen. I did my PhD in chemical engineering. My co-founder, Roderick, has more than 25 years experience in business. We have a strong R&D team. We also have a supportive advisory board. We launched AlGreen in 2020, August, built supply chain supported by Innovate UK and Enterprise Singapore, received equity-free funding about 1.5 million, studied our patent, and will become the green chemical leader in the future. We are AlGreen, which is nature with natural. Please feel free to ask me questions. Thank you so much.
AlGreen, are you on call with us? Perfect.
Yes.
We see you and hear you. Over to the jury for questions.
So thanks a lot for the pitch. I understood that you, in the first place, want to go to the sustainable fashion market, which is a quite attractive one, I would assume. You mentioned you're working on a potential collaboration with Hennes and Mauritz, which is rather a mass producer of clothes. And in the presentation, you meant you want to go to the segment of luxury clothes and stuff like that. Could you briefly explain on this collaboration? What's the first step you're going to tackle the sustainable clothing market? And do you think you will be capable of going into mass production with your product soon?
Okay, so I think as I remember, I didn't say luxury fashion because currently we provide our product to a high street fashion brand, the fashion show, and also we are the H&M finalist. So that is also a mass fashion. And in terms how fast we can go to the full scale production, because we are early stage in the lab at the moment. And for taking a chemical innovation to the full scale production, I think we need to go through several stages, like the small scale production and pilot scale. So it may take years. Yeah, I hope I answered your question.
Thank you from my side for the presentation. There's currently a big run on replacing petroleum-based plastics, poly materials with bio-based materials. How would you differentiate, and what's the pricing difference? Example with other bio-based materials. So I've seen, for example, I think even at AdMaCom 1 or 2 years ago, replacing plastics with corn-based material.
Yeah, I think price is mainly associated with the application. So for example, the average polyurethane price is kind of very affordable, like $3.5 per kilogram. But for the kind of film form application in the cosmetic industry, the price is much higher, from $30 to $100 per kilograms. So it's mainly based on the application, because although people mention about the cheap raw material of the plastics, but actually when we combine the functionality, and there are still, let's say, the price is already highly associated with the application.
Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. I think it's time to move on to the next startup. This was the last of our remote startups. Now we'll be hearing from the people in the room. First up, all the way from Malta, we have Smart Materials. Would you have timer as well?
Every year, 240 million mattresses are produced, and 80% of them are not recycled. In 10 years, we could stack them up all the way to the moon. Problem is the multi-material, multi-layer design in mattresses, which was created for comfort. But materials have limitations, and gluing them together to solve it is not a good idea, because it makes it still very costly to produce. It's still not as comfortable, and it's a nightmare to recycle. So what is a better alternative? Oxetic foam, unparalleled performance. It's really soft at initial touch, densifies upon compression. It's very durable, and it molds around the body perfectly, providing better comfort. So it can be used in monomaterial design, making it really easy to produce, cheap, and it would resolve some of these recyclability issues. The problem here, though, is no one has been able to produce it at large scale because of the expensive post-processing steps. First, the block foam is produced, then compressed, then heat treated, making it really unscalable and very expensive. Our team knows everything about these problems. We have decades of experience in oxetic foams and oxetic materials, and we have commercialized materials before. And we have come up with a breakthrough. We are achieving oxetic properties at the initial foaming stage, eliminating the post-processing, making it really affordable and scalable, and our process fits perfectly into today's production systems. We have taken steps to protect our idea in key markets, and now we're targeting hundreds of foam producers and to license our technology for their use. We have many leads who want to apply our technology, and basically there are two large companies who want to negotiate already first pilot studies with us. There's still a few steps for us to solve, and that's why we're raising 2 million. We want to scale our formulations to large size blocks and make our process really easy to transfer as a license. There are other application areas for these foams in automotive, sports, and protective gear. And we as Smart Materials hope that our technology finally unlocks this really amazing material and will help to transform the industry. Thank you.
Is it really more, so you mentioned applications that are mostly focused on comfort. Is it that much more comfier than the existing solutions currently in the market?
Pretty much, yes. So everyone tries to solve, every foam is limited. So what they try to do to overcome that limitation is have to layer them. So usually a foam just has a threshold of comfort, and then you're either too heavy or too soft. What ours does is it gets stronger linearly. So different people have the same level of comfort as well.
If we just stay with the slide, you said you have a one material approach, yeah?
Yeah.
But I still see 2 layers there.
Yeah, so that's when we tested the market. So different markets seem to have different expectations. So that's there because in the US, basically, even if you can make a better foam, they still want to fill with something else underneath just to make it look bigger. So that's why that's on Asian markets, we found that we have the advantage. We can even reduce the amount of material per mattress while still providing the performance.
Yeah, Thanks a lot. Very interesting. So I have two questions. So one thing is you mentioned that normal standard mattresses are not recyclable. And how about your mattresses?
So there are two types of recycling. One which was mechanical recycling, which is being phased out. It's not pure recycling. Now there's a lot of introduction on EU and a lot of pressure that chemical recycling is going to have to come in. It is recyclable. It's just really, really different. There are pilot plants happening. The biggest problem is each foam is different. They need to be separated, and there's a glue layer which needs to be separated and thrown away, basically. What we do is we reduce that problem and make it easier for them to be able to recycle.
Great, thanks. And another thing is you mentioned that you're raising 2 million because you want to do scale up. So how difficult is to do that, and how much time we would need for this?
So we expect the next scale up to be around 12 months. We've done progressively to what we can do by hand. We already bought the machine to be able to do 2 meter by 2 meter blocks. So it's basically manpower and chemicals because each test takes that much time. We do foresee challenges because obviously everything comes with challenges, but we have the team to be able to solve. So we have a patent granted in Netherlands just to lock in the priority date. We have a positive PCT reply for the pre-check. We're doing national phases in EU, USA, Canada, Japan, and China. So basically in the EU, it's about fast. Same for Canada, US is taking a bit longer, and Asia taking a bit longer.
And we have done internal FTO to make sure that we're not infringing on others.
Thank you so much. Next up, all the way from Singapore, we have NNE Innovations. Please give them a warm welcome to the stage.
Hi everyone, I'm Gigi, the founder of NNE Innovations from Singapore.
And I'm Jesslyn, the co-founder.
And today we'd like to present to you our green sustainable technology, VCAM, the viral resistance designed for you and your loved ones.
Do you know that toxic chemicals used in your daily cleaning products can lead to antimicrobial resistance? And chemicals are also toxic and harmful to our ecosystem. We have engineered VCAM. It is our natural, long-lasting, self-disinfecting solution. It is natural and it can reduce transmission and mitigate resistance. It is our non-toxic alternative to chemical disinfectants. And we are proud to share that we have our own CAS number. So how do we manufacture it? Do we take resources from planet Earth? 9, we use food waste, of which there are billions around the world, just emitting greenhouse gases. So we have valorized up to 2 tons of food waste, reducing 3.8 tons of carbon equivalents. And we use food waste such as seafood waste, cashew nut husk, soybean waste, and many other abundant feedstock, which are otherwise would be thrown into landfill and formulated into VCAM. So our technology is low cost, and it not only addresses the AMR problem, but the global food waste problem. And we call it Zwei Flicken mit einer Klapperschlagen.
So our unique core shell technology allows it to continuously inactivate pathogens, including the SARS-CoV-2 virus. VCAM is effective within minutes, it's food grade, a certified non-cytotoxic, non-mutagenic, and with our first natural antimicrobial to be approved by the Singapore Environment Agency. And we have filed 4 patents to date, receiving our Singapore patent just earlier this year. Our technology has also been incorporated to downstream products such as medical grade masks, as well as specialty coating that is used for the aviation industry that can last on surfaces for more than 6 months. It has been not only certified and approved by Airbus, but also Boeing, and we have also spray coated the entire fleet of Singapore Airlines. We have existing entire network of paying clients receiving more than 1 million sales turnover. And VCAN can also be incorporated and embedded into paints for green buildings, master batches for polymers and plastics. It could also be used for textiles in the medical industry. The entire total serviceable market for VCAN is 9.7 billion US dollars with many potential sectors that we could look into. And we have also have many awards, including the Green Innovation Award by APAC. This is our dream team that has not been here. And we would like to show, yes, it's so natural that you could actually have team present. Spray and eat it. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. My question would be, what would you expect from this program? Because you're already having sales and where you want to go. Okay.
Battle's really hard. So we're really looking for collaborators that really want to change and make a change in the antimicrobial industry by using food waste. It could be embedded into any technologies. It could be used for paints, cosmetics. So there are many various sectors that are to replace the heavy metals of the world, such as silver ions, titanium dioxide, zinc oxides that are heavily used in the market. So we are a price comparative, low-cost approach.
I have one question. I saw that you have many companies, big ones that you are collaborating with. Do you also, how is the manufacturing of this product? Is you on the manufacturing, and what is the scalability?
At the moment, we can produce 100 tons, and we're wanting to scale all the way to 10,000 tons. It's a green technology and a green technology that we have already patented and scaled up. So we are looking to really explore and see how we could scale our production also in Europe.
Is it on? Yeah. I have a question regarding the sourcing of your raw materials. So you're using bio waste, and a very good approach. There are several other startups using this raw material. If you say you're looking into scaling your production and your business, have you thought about where you can source all the material in later stages? What's your idea?
So we have already worked with Intersnack Group, which is the second largest snack manufacturers of the world. They have more than 4 billion tons of metric tons of cashew nut waste that are produced globally every year. What we do is we take their industrial food waste that are already sorted and send it. At the moment, we're only using their Vietnam I would say factories, but there are many more that we can use. So I think feedstock is not an issue because our technology can not only use cashew nuts, it could use durian hearts, banana peel. There are many different ones that we are also exploring. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you so much, Stevie and Jaslyn. Really exciting presentation and really exciting demonstration as well, I have to say. Next up, we have Berlin's very own Salaga.
Okay, no, it should work. It should work. And now, yes. Hi, everyone. My name is Benjamin. I'm the CEO and the co-founder of Salaga. We are a Berlin-based company, and we try to address CO2 emissions and also pollution by using microalgae biofilms. These are algae mats, I would say. So some you will say, oh no, another algae company, but we are using algae mats, so a completely different system So no liquid culture, no costs for growing the algae, because they stay alive as a living plant. And where do we use it for? Basically, we developed air cleaning systems that we already sell to the customers. So this is an algae frame and an algae wall. And also we are working on reactor systems that have a higher capacity of CO2 uptake. So basically containers containing these algae mats. And what are they doing? Basically, they can produce methane and hydrogen, for example, but also they can be used as an industrial filter, and also for the production of chemicals as a starting point for the bioeconomy. How does it look like? So basically the process in the cell is that the CO2 is taken up, and at some point with oxygen, they don't produce glucose, they produce something different, glycolate. And glycolate is a waste product that can't be used by algae or plants. So, and this glycolate has the advantage that it has a higher energy than the biomass that is normally produced out of glucose. And we are producing the bioreactors where all these algae mats are placed in, and they can easily produce these organic compounds. So basically, we can produce up to 600 milligrams of liters of these TOC, total organic carbon. And inside you don't only have glycolate, but also formaldehyde, succinate, and all other organic compounds, because the cells are complicated and also produce different other chemicals. So you can use these as a starting point for the bioeconomy by basically producing biopolymers or different other things. For example, PLGA, which is really cost intensive and which can be used as a drug delivery system or for different other applications. And the chemical industry is changing. Basically, it's going from oil-based industry to a bio-based industry. And you need a starting point. You basically need to convert CO2 as a starting point, as a starting chemical to replace all the oil products. We have a team of experts in algae, but also managing and biotechnology. We have also worked together with some bigger companies in order to sell our products that I introduced at the beginning. And we have corporations in Berlin and other cities. Thank you for the attention.
Thank you so much for that, Ben. Over to the jury for questions.
I saw there at BMW. So have you tested this technology in industrial facility, and what were the results? Could you capture a lot of CO2, or was hard environment?
Yeah, basically the automotive industry is quite important in Germany, and they are looking for solutions in order to clean up the air inside cars, but also CO2. And we did some measurements together with BMW, and they showed that the CO2 reduction is quite good inside cars with our system.
And what about the plants? Have you tried your technology in a plant, in the place? So I work from Continental. I want to reduce my CO2 footprint in one of my tire plants. Have you tested, and how was the feedback?
The feedback is basically you have to know that in this system, you have to have a throughput of carbon. So basically, if you just leave the carbon inside, it will grow, and would be heavier. So you need to have a throughput. You have to need an output. So basically, our application is more for the chemical industry, where you can basically generate something bioplastic or something that you can need further. But if you just let it there, it will grow. Our biofilms also have a limited growth because otherwise they shadow each other. So I think the application in these things are different. So you need something like a big plant with a lot of mats inside, and then you have a throughput, and then it's the uptake can go up to 1 ton or so per year per container.
Is it just as easy as I understand it? So you have here this mats of algae, and you just pass the CO2 through it, and that's it? Or do you have to take care of the algae, and what is the durability of that?
Yeah, that's the advantage of our system. Basically, you have the maintenance is quite low, so you only have to water it from time to time, but they stay alive for years. And you have to have the light, of course, the airing with CO2, because that is their nutrition, some trace elements inside the water, but that's it. And that's the good thing about it. So basically, you build a big container out of it, and you can leave it for a long time and just harvest what basically you want.
Could you elaborate further on the harvesting? How do you collect the products afterwards?
Yeah, so basically you have a container with water, so easily spoken, and then you can use electrodialysis, for example. This is a chemical method to separate with an electronic system the compounds, and then you can up concentrate them and can use it for their applications.
Thank you so much for that, Ben. That's our time for today. Up next, we have the last of our German startups.
Yeah. Okay. Perfect. Thank you.
Hello everyone, my name is Iroko from Bioworks. At Bioworks, we strive to create a world where the resources are valued, waste is minimized, and especially nature thrives for the generations to come. Therefore, we address major challenges faced by the wood industry, furniture, construction industry. The challenges are here. We cut more than 2 billion trees every year to produce wood-based products for these industries. At the same time, we generate more than 2.2 billion tons of waste because they cannot be recycled. They ended up at landfills. And that creates tremendous challenge for global greenhouse gas emissions. We think that wood-based products, they might be bio-based or carbon neutral or circular, but in reality, we use a lot of synthetic binders, synthetic glues and resins that make them not so. Therefore, at Bioworks, we ask ourselves how we can address these challenges. How can we create solutions that is circular, bio-based, and follow the circular economy model? We looked into one of the world's most fascinating nature species, fungi and mushrooms. All of us, we eat mushrooms, we love the fruit. Mushrooms grow on a variety of substrate, mostly organic one, like wood, natural fibers. But what's fascinating about mushroom is that when they grow, they create an amazing natural binding properties on the roots, which called mycelium. So in our technology, we use mycelium as a one-to-one replacement for traditional one-days that we would use in the wood-based products, but we use only wood waste, we use only agricultural waste and mycelium. We develop new wood, 100% bio-based, 100% circular, and 100% basically sustainable alternative, one-to-one alternative replacement for traditional MDF, particle board, and OSB, with similar and even better properties. We already demonstrated in a proof of concept project in Indonesia for a self-sustainable modular home, basically. And we're already working with established mushroom partners in Netherlands, in Germany. We collect wood waste, agricultural waste from a variety of stakeholders within Germany and Europe. And we post-process it at Bioworks to basically semi-finish new wood panels that we can sell it to the contractors, engineers, architectural firms, and furniture manufacturers. But this cannot be achieved without the multidisciplinary team on board, a combination of use and experience. But of course, the impact are very important for us. Through an investment of 1.2 million euro, we can scale up the production process, do more pilot projects, and hopefully we can bring more impact, especially saving more than 30,000 trees, 680 tons of CO2, and of course, creating socio-economic benefits. So I hope you can join us at Bioworks to basically rewrite the story of our forest and tackle the climate change, close the loops within the three main industries. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Over to the jury.
Since I have the microphone, I will start. What about the costs of your material compared to others like USB wood plates?
Yeah, very good question. I think at the moment, of course, we need to scale it up. At the moment, it's more expensive than traditional Spanplatte, but I think with the scale-up process, we can achieve much lower cost based on our estimation, up to 10% lower than traditional particle boards. because our resources are basically the waste of the major industries, furniture factories, wood mills, and agricultural farms.
But at the moment, our price is about 20% higher than the current material in the market. But our aim, as Ali mentioned, is to bring it to similar or up to 10% less.
How much fungi do you need for like 1 kilo of wood?
How much fungi you need?
Sure, you can also do this though.
We use different type of fungi for that, but for our main production, we are focusing on polyphorous fungi, which you can also find in Germany, in Europe, in Asia. They can be adapted to different climates, but specifically we are focusing on Traumatus versicolor, Ganoderma lucidium, oyster mushrooms, different type of exotic mushrooms is what we are focusing on.
And how much of these do you need for 1 kilo of wood, for example?
So we only add about 1 to 2% of the initial seed of the mushroom to the whole material.
Have a touch.
And then it would expand itself.
How do the physical properties match up in terms of engineering properties?
You can have the physical properties now.
Yeah, and does it take to paint well?
So our plan is to make the material to stay 100% biological. So for now, whatever prototypes that we are producing and all the customers that we are approaching, we are selling the idea of using the material as what it is, but it can also be painted, it can be laminated, depending on the applications that we are basically focusing.
So you can use it as basically how to use particle board or MDF or OSB. There's no difference. Is that we don't use any glue, we use wood waste, fiber waste, and mycelium as a binder, basically.
Thank you.
It feels a bit heavier than the wood plate. Yeah, my question would be, there are a lot of companies that are working with mushrooms and trying to do that, to use this as material. How about your competitors?
So what we are trying to do is different from our basically our mushroom business competitors. So they are mainly focusing in packaging industry and also for insulation materials. So for us, we have stepped beyond that. So we want to be a direct replacement to engineered wood product at the moment. And for that, till now, I hope there is no competitor.
Thank you.
Last one.
Yes.
What is your roadmap on targeting your customers? So you said like industry, I understood.
Yeah.
And what is next? Is also furniture. It's also because there are big players in the market and so on. What is the roadmap?
So maybe I add a bit on that. At the moment, we work with we are having 2 pilot projects. One of them, the 3rd largest producer of furniture in Europe. And we're doing a pilot project, a smaller scale, to basically do the like a study on how the material should perform. And we're also working with another manufacturers of consumable goods, also in Europe, I think 2nd largest, but again, a smaller scale. And we hope that they could come on board with us as potential customers.
So for the beginning, we are mainly focusing on furniture industry because that is an easier market as an entry point, that they can accept a bit of a higher price to start with. And also it's a less regulated industry. And then we would move to mainly construction industry, working mainly with architects and focusing on the properties of the material. But for that, because the production scale is a bit higher, so then we have to be in a phase that we can sell at a competitive price compared to the materials which are already used, like MDF, OSB, and something like that. But at the moment, our entry point is mainly furniture market for interior application.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. And surprisingly, this is the last startup we have for today. Time sure flies when you're having fun, right? All the way from the USA, we have Applied Bioplastics.
Hey, everyone. Thank you so much. I'm Alex Blum, founder and CEO of Applied Bioplastics. At Applied Bioplastics, we are decarbonizing the plastic industry and changing the future of polymers. I know, another bioplastics pitch, right? But this is different. I'm sure you guys have all heard of the trash problem, straws, bags, and the like. But did you know they only take up about 40% of the entire plastics market? All the bioplastics pitches you've heard in general are dealing with that 40%, packaging, plastic, bags and straws, right? So what about the other types of plastic? The millions of everyday items that we use, the furniture, containers, transportation components, tools, toys. Look, you're sitting on it right now, right? So single-use plastic could disappear and you'd hardly notice, but durable plastic is essential to modern society. Durable plastics account for almost 60% of all plastic and contribute massively to the atmospheric carbon problem. 7% today and as much as 20% in just a few short decades. So how do we fix this? At Applied Bioplastics, we've figured out a way to produce durable plastics that are 20% cheaper. You heard that right, 20% cheaper than their petroleum-based incumbents, and also reduce carbon and microplastics by up to 85% compared to those incumbents. They're also super scalable because we use standard equipment. We've signed $63 million in off-taker agreements this year, all of them addressable within the next 12 months. We've also closed several awesome institutional investors, and here's why. Our durable polymers incorporate sustainable plant fibers that are available all over the world. That, of course, slashes those carbon emissions. Because both the plant fiber and our proprietary processing technology are inexpensive, we can win against the big players on price today while slashing carbon emissions for thousands and thousands of products. What truly sets us apart from other solutions is that both makers and users of durable plastics now have a drop-in replacement. Our platform is built around the capital equipment that they already use, so there's no cost to adopt. And that's important because plastic is a game where razor-thin margins matter. Our product matches the commodity plastics on price and performance, all while contributing significantly less CO2. Applied Bioplastics is the hottest brand in composites, which helps us hire. We've won nearly all of the industry awards we've applied to. And the last time I posted a job rec, I got 1,400 applications in the first 48 hours. We have over $500 million in our sales pipeline right now. We've just onboarded multiple senior sales reps. We signed our first distributorship agreement, our first licensing agreement, and we're post-revenue. It should be obvious, guys, why we're seeing so much traction after only 3.5 years of work. We've taken away the cost of adoption, the barriers to scale, the limited feedstocks required by other specialty producers, and the cost difference between alternatives and incumbents at a time when manufacturers are trying to be greener but can't really afford a premium. Guys, we have a tiger by the tail, and we need your help to put it in a headlock. We're hiring PhDs in cellulosic bioplastics. If you know someone, say something. As for investors, we're currently raising $5 million on a $20 million cap safe note. We've already closed over $1 million, so time is short, and I'm out of time. Thank you so much.
Perfect. Over to the jury for questions.
Yes, I'm amazed. Where are your current challenges? Because you are cheaper than the current plastics, then you can reduce the footprint. Where are your current challenges?
You know, plastic's a hard business. There's hundreds of thousands of different permutations of plastic. I mean, these are two things we make, right? Polypropylene, polyethylene, and a composite, right? So, or like a board composite, right? So there's thousands and thousands of applications for durable plastics. So that's why we're tripling the size of our R&D team, is to incorporate more plant fibers, more invasive species. So we're actually doing social good on top of environmental good. And you know, there's a lot of work to be done, right? So like, I wouldn't say it's a challenge. It's just, there's a lot of growth to be had, and we're getting there.
You're asking for investment to buy equipment. What is the equipment supposed to be used for?
Certainly. So we're actually a licensing company, right? So we've invented the way to process the fiber, and we've invented the way to compound it into other plastics, right? So we're essentially building a demonstration facility to show potential licensees in Poland and in the United States. We've already got one in India. So we're expanding our footprint so we can invite licensees to our facilities, show them how easy it is to make more money while being greener. And there you go, right? So I just need 2 more facilities, sorry, raising the total number to 3. Each of those facilities is so lightweight, guys, $500,000 will buy me one, right? The rest of the money is going to increase staff costs, other things like that. We're also applying for $15 million in grants simultaneously. So this is a $20 million round, only 5's available to private capital.
Could you comment on your supply chain for your feedstocks?
Absolutely. So, there's a wide world out there of plant fibers, right? So we're looking at cover crops like jute, which is what this board is made out of. Incidentally, we deploy refugee housing. So that's relevant here in Europe. It's relevant in Asia. We've been running a refugee camp using our composites for the last 2 years. By the way, so jute as a cover crop makes great housing. We're also looking at wheat chaff. We're looking at core, rami, sisal, corn husk. I mean, the possibilities are endless, but this summer, we're really focusing in on invasive species. So we've cataloged over 18 invasive species. We're working on getting it up to 25, and we're going to incorporate those into our feedstocks, right? So the important thing with natural fibers and with plant-based things that I never hear people talk about is the length of your supply chain. Shipping low bulk density, low value plant fiber long distances doesn't work from an economic or an environmental standpoint. So what we're doing is finding ways to match compounders and their needs with nearby feedstocks, right? So we're not doing that long supply chain thing. We're trying to keep those trucks and trains short so that we can have the highest environmental benefit possible.
Thank you.
Any more questions? Okay, thank you so much, Alex.
Thanks, guys.
And with that, we've come to an end of our startup pitch session. A huge thank you to all of the startups who came on stage to pitch, and a very huge thank you to our jury members for the excellent questions as well. It's time I hand it back to Oliver now. Yeah.
Thank you, Taha. I think it's a first. It's the first time we're on time, actually. And it's 20 minutes to, almost 20 minutes to 6. And we'd invite you over to the room over there for some refreshments, as they say. And we'd be back here in round about an hour. That's the plan. I hope the jury will have enough time during that hour to contemplate and choose the winner of AdMaCom. So until that time, move over to the room next to the entrance, have some refreshments, and Chris is reminding me, you can vote, because one of the prizes we are giving away is actually the crowd's favorite. And I move away from the QR code. So you can scan the QR code. Everybody, of course, has only one vote. And I know there's been problems with elections in Berlin in recent years. Some of you will know about that, but this one is going to run smoothly. We are promising that. So scan your code, vote for your favorite startup, for your favorite pitch. And that startup, obviously, that's getting the most votes is becoming or getting the crowd's favorite prize today. So you can vote now. We leave the slide on during the break. Once it's not there anymore, voting is finished. So please do it during the first, let's say, 45 minutes of the break. And then we'll have to also have some time to get everything arranged. Now, having said that, that was the last remark. And now there's nothing between you and a cold or warm drink over there in the room next to the entrance. Thank you very much so far. Thank you very much for the pitches, and see you in roughly an hour. Ladies and gentlemen, the moment of truth is coming closer. So I'd like to ask everybody to sit down. And we are coming to our awards ceremony of this year's AdMaCom. But before we come to that, I'd like to ask on stage, as initially announced, from our sponsor, Investitionsbank Berlin, IBB, Konstantin Hansen, to tell us a couple of words. Thank you, Konstantin.
Thank you, Oliver. I have to tell you, I'm not a sponsor, it's IBB, it's a sponsor. The IBB is the Investitionsbank Berlin. I'm working for the IBB in the business consultancy department. And together with my colleagues, which are not here today, Laura and Robert, we joined some very interesting mentoring sessions last Tuesday with companies from different countries, like I did, I guess, the last 6 or 7 years. So I'm also a part of the AdMaCom family since, I don't know, since 2016 or 17. Who's IBB? IBB is a business development bank owned by the city of Berlin. And our task is to support companies with their projects, or for realizing their projects or their R&D activities or their investments here in Berlin. We provide public grants and loans, as well as commercial loans in close cooperation with local commercial banks to share business and risk. Yeah, what we do here with AdMaCom is we are a sponsor because we think it's a very good opportunity to get in touch with companies from all over the world and show them what Berlin has to offer. And maybe in some cases we achieved that there's a decision by the management board and they really came to Berlin in some cases. So that's always a great success for us. Like, for example, Oral Tech, yeah, and other companies. But always for us, it's very interesting when we did the mentoring sessions to talk to companies from abroad. The last years, I remember from Japan, from Colombia, this time from Singapore, and what I learned was very funny. The business cards in Singapore are written in very small letters, so a man over 50 years can't hardly read them. Yeah, so I'm presenting now, I guess.
Absolutely, and you can stay on stage, and you have the great pleasure and I hope honor also to use this magic wand to announce the winner of the crowd favorite. And I give you some.
So I just press the right button, yeah, I guess.
Exactly.
To go further.
Exactly.
Okay. Yeah, who's the winner of the AdMaCom 2023 Spring Edition Crowd Award? Yeah. And the winner is Bioworks with their mushroom technology. Congratulations. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. That was the first of 3 prizes. And that's basically your favorite. You all have been entitled to vote and you voted. And now the next one is the mentor's choice. So every mentor after their mentoring sessions get to give a vote about the startup also. And for awarding this prize, I would like to call on stage another Konstantin. And Konstantin that has also been mentioned, Konstantin from Oral Tech.
Thanks.
And you, I also give you the magic wand, and you can announce now the Mentor's Choice Award. And maybe say a couple of words about your involvement with INAM.
So yeah, I won't take much of your time. I've been a mentor in this program for, I think, 6 or 7 years now. And I've been working in a startup as a CTO for slightly more than that. And the thing that I appreciate more and more each year is a good night's sleep. So every time there is a new innovative technology that improves this aspect of my life, and I have to say everyone else's life as well, I'm more than excited. So that's why it brings me a lot of joy to introduce Mentors Award, Mentors Choice Award at AdMaCom 2023. And the award goes to materials.
And now finally, the head of the jury, board member and treasurer and long-standing supporter of the INAM, Garrett, is going on stage. And again, you get the clicker and the mic.
Thanks a lot. I wouldn't call myself a head of the jury. Actually, we hadn't picked a head of it, so we just decided the board member will do the overall award. And I must say, it was a tough decision. It's always a tough decision. We always say the same, but we really see the increase in the quality of the pitches here, and we had to struggle a bit in the end, especially among the two finalists. We had to make in German you say a fighting vote. So the result was really close. In the end, I think the bar was pushed a bit by the fact that if you have a great product, you want to bring this great product in the market, you also have to do great marketing. And I think the winner is one of example of it. The prize goes to Applied Bioplastics. Right.
Super. Congratulations. Thank you so much. Thanks everybody for participating, for the great contributions, for the great pitches today, for the enthusiasm during the last 3 weeks. And of course, also thanks a lot to the INAM team, which I would like to ask on stage now, who's been working so hard to get the whole program not only up and running, but also organized today and do all the backup work. Taha, you know already, but also Chris, Asa, Sylvia, and Amar. Fantastic, fantastic. Thank you so much, guys. Tom, yeah, oh, come on, yeah, you also. Where's the clicker? Okay, so, and after the next slide, I've got one more slide to bother you with. We're going to be doing a family picture. So all the participants of AdMaCom 2023, please come on stage. Also the jury members, and we take family picture, okay? But there used to be a CEO who was closing his product speech with the announcement of the next big thing. And I don't want to compare myself or INAM or anything like that to that, but we do have a next big thing which I would like to announce. And it has actually to do with the computing world. This November, INAM is organizing the very first Future of Computing conference. It's an international conference which is focusing on materials that drive the performance, the sustainability, and also the applicability of computer chips in all kinds of sectors. It's going to be at the end of November, so roughly half a year's time. We're starting promoting it, so this is kind of a sneak peek preview for you. We start promoting it in mid-June. But if you want to register yourself for newsletters, for getting information about it, you can do so on our website already. If you are interested in actually presenting, becoming a sponsor, involving yourself into the whole affair, you can also approach us, of course. And definitely you should know, if you're in the field, you should note down the dates, and we'll be keeping you informed about anything that's going to happen until then. Now, with that said, we're coming to the very last slide, and a big thank you again to everybody who's been helping financially, in kind, with their time to make AdMaCom and INAM what it is. And with that, I would like to close the ceremonies. Thank you, everybody, the audience that have come here today, that have been very patient, although for the first time we are roughly on time, which is amazing. So we're getting more efficient on that also. And yeah, I think we owe the participating startups, the finalists, final round of applause. And after that, please, people, come to the front for the family picture. So big round of applause again for the winners and everybody participating.